Are you wondering if now is the right time to join Language Life? If so, keep watching because I'm going to go through a few scenarios, and if they apply to you, then now definitely could be the right time to join Language Life. All right, let's get started. So this comes up a lot when I'm speaking to people who are thinking of joining, and one of the things that they say a lot is like, I'm not sure if I want to commit to this right now, or I don't know if I have the time right now. And so let's just figure out if now is the right time, because I know that it can be quite daunting sometimes to join something like Language Life and think, am I going to be able to fit this in? So I want to make sure that if you're joining at the right time for you, and you're going to get the most from the program. So first up, you've hit a plateau. So if you've hit a plateau in your language learning, then absolutely now is a good time to join Language Life, because what that typically means when you've hit this plateau, it's not just about like you've learned all you can, now you're at intermediate level and you have to just coast and wait. Like, that's not it. There's sometimes ways that you can be thinking like, right, am I still enjoying it as much as I was? Are things still working? And really going back to that sort of that review of deciding, are things flexible, are they functional, and are they fun, so that you can be ensuring that yes, you're ticking all of those boxes, and there's ways that we can work to boost things away from that plateau. And this is where the regular one-on-one check-ins come in the program, because I know that we have the question bank, but that's for all clients, all members to hear. And I know that there are some things that you might not want everyone else to hear. There are some things you might just want to ask just with me in private and kind of get covered, right? And so that's why they're there, so that you have this chance at the end of every chapter in the self-study library, you can book in on one of those one-on-one check-ins. So that's 12 times throughout the program. Plus we have milestones that are like, you have a goal, like a big end goal, but you need milestones along the way to make sure that you're always got something within reach. When you hit those milestones, you're entitled to extra one-on-one time. So there are moments like that as well. So throughout the program, as and when you want and need the support, you've got the chance for those one-on-ones. You struggle to understand native speakers. One of the most common problems that I encounter. It's huge because it's the thing that we think should be easy, right? We think, okay, I'm going to focus on speaking, and so we speak a lot, we do all that practice, but it's the listening that's a big part of that often can throw us off, right? So we might know the answer, we might be able to speak an answer to someone, but if we don't know what they're asking us in the first place, we don't know if we're going to say the right answer. Do you know what I mean? So it's a huge block for a lot of people. And if that's where you're at, if you're really struggling to understand native speakers, then Language Life is going to really help you. And one of the ways is with the listening chapter in the self-study library. There's a couple of things in particular that you'll learn that are going to be, I think, really beneficial to this. So one is the listening success factors. So I walk you through the actual elements that make up successful listening. So you're not just having to sort of throw things at the wall and see what sticks. You're not just having to think, okay, well, I'm not good at listening, I'm just going to listen more. Okay, but listen more and focus on what? So this will give you something to actually focus on, to know, okay, that's the bit that's missing for me. It's not just listening, right? It's that particular bit of listening that I need to work on that is missing for me. So there's the listening success factors. You'll also be able to develop a listening process. Now, this is really important because this is something that will give you a way to approach every single listening practice, listening activity, and even something you can bring into real life as well when you're in those scenarios and someone's in front of you and you're trying to listen. So the listening process, it works on this basis of before, during, and after, but it goes into a little bit more detail. So having that listening process will really just help you to feel much safer, right? Much more grounded, much more like you know what you're doing, because you have this process you're working through as and when you need it. And when I say process as well, that sounds like, it's going to be this big, lengthy thing. I need to be like, hang on, I can't listen to you yet. I need to do my process. No, it's something that when you sort of train that muscle for it, just happens instantly in the moment once you're there. So it becomes easier and quicker every single time. So it's a really beneficial part of the listening chapter that you'll be able to use and apply so that you can understand native speakers when they're speaking to you. You're not confident speaking. So the other side of that listening is the speaking confidence. So whether you do or don't understand what someone is saying to you, if you don't understand the response, that is going to be equally as frustrating and downheartening and just demotivating, which obviously we don't want. So if this is you, if you are not a confident speaker, then Language Life, again, is going to be really, really helpful, because it's the same default advice that we get here of, if you struggle with speaking, speak more. Okay, and speak more and just speak, just say the same thing over and over again. Because I know in the past, when I used to try this, I would think, okay, I'm not getting enough speaking practice in. I need to speak more. And so I would just record myself on my phone, and every day it would be the same. Hello, my name is Lindsay. I live in England. And I would just add one new little sentence each day of from the same sort of monologue, and sometimes not even a sentence, just and I don't know what else to say, And so it wasn't really very useful. So rather than just speak more, what I would recommend for you is, in Language Life, we have something called the Speak 28 by 28 challenge. Now, this is a 28-day challenge where you will speak 28 times, right? And every single day, there's a brand new, quick, short, snappy video lesson alongside a prompt to get you speaking so that you can practice and be building that habit, because one of the really crucial things is to develop this solo speaking habit, and that's what the Speak 28 by 28 challenge helps you to do. Because when we think of speaking as well, we think, okay, I need to speak more, I need to go to more meetups, I need to book more lessons, I need to get out there, and I need to speak with people. And of course, yes, speaking with people, really important, really useful, but it's if that's the only thing you're doing, the only way I can compare this is if you just constantly get up on stage to perform with your saxophone and you haven't practiced home alone in your room, you're just getting up on stage and playing it and hoping it works. That's what it's like if we don't have a solo speaking habit, if we don't practice speaking on our own without people being in front of us. So when you're able to do this, when you're able to develop this, it really, really will help with your speaking confidence. And that's what the Speak 28 by 28 challenge is all about. It's inside Language Life exclusively. And that would be your start point if this is where you're at and you're thinking, is now the right time to join, and you struggle with speaking confidence, join Language Life and start with that challenge. Next up, now is the right time to join Language Life if the idea of Language Life feels intense. So let me explain this one a little bit. If it feels like a lot to learn how to learn languages, then that's probably a sign that there is a real lack of that in where you're at right now, right? So you're probably trying to do too much, to speak more, to listen more, because that's what you've heard, that's what you've been told, and you're wondering where you're going to find the time, because how am I going to find the time for Language Life if I'm speaking more and listening more? And actually, when you're thinking, well, the thought of Language Life feels too intense, generally that tends to mean that you're trying to do too much in the language itself, right? That isn't necessarily working for you. So join Language Life. This is what I'd recommend. Join Language Life. Not pause your language learning, right? Not completely, but just scale things back if you need to fit it in, so that you can be sort of tweaking and adjusting your languages as you go, as you work through Language Life. And you can just put Language Life in those times when you would have been doing language learning, right? And then it won't feel intense. It won't feel like this thing that you have to overhaul your life for to fit in, because you really, really don't. Everything is so designed to be fit-inable, if that's a word. I'm going to make it a word, right? It's a word now. So things like the self-study curriculum, the video lessons are all short and sweet, bite-sized lessons. You can take one at a time, or you can binge a whole section if you want to. They're there for you in whichever way you want. You get transcripts, you get subtitles, and you can watch on 2 times speed. So all these little features that just make things quicker and easier for you. With the question bank, that is a private podcast feed, so you can be downloading and listening to that wherever you listen to your podcasts as usual, and just be listening on the go, maybe on your commute or on your daily walk when you're walking the dog, all of these things that you do already, you can fit it in. It can fit on top of your life as it is. You don't need to like shoehorn language life in. And on the other side of that, perhaps language life feels intense because you're thinking, well, languages aren't my life, right? And that's not necessarily where you need to be. If that is you, that's fine, great. Come on in, you're gonna love it. But if you feel like, well, languages aren't my life, it's just a thing that I want to do, absolutely. Language life isn't, the name isn't to say like languages must be your life, languages will be your life. It's more about how to fit languages in your life and how to have that skill, how to have languages for a lifetime, right? Not just a flash in the pan where like, you know, you learn very quickly and then you forget equally as quickly or perhaps even quicker. So it's about how to make sure this is something long lasting. This is a skill that you develop that stays with you for life. Because when you have that and when you learn that for the language that you're learning right now, what that means is you can do that again in the future. It's like this repeatable process again and again. And of course, there's differences for different languages, but the core of that, the bulk of what you're going to do is the same. And so it gets easier every single time once you have this process in place. So there we go. I hope this has been helpful. If you're wondering if now is the right time to join Language Life, if any of these apply to you, then yes, absolutely, now is a wonderful time to join, and you can do so at the link in the description or lindsaydoeslanguages.com/LL. And I very much look forward to working with you inside Language Life. If you have any questions before then, you can email me as well. You can leave a comment. It's lindsay@doeslanguages.com if you want to send an email, and I'll speak to you very soon. If you've enjoyed this video, do feel free to subscribe and follow and share and comment and like and all of the things that help to tell the internet algorithmness that yes, you enjoyed this and this was good and it should show it to more people. All right, have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll speak to you very soon. Thank you. Bye.